Welcome back to History Reborn AI. Does a river remember more souls than an empire ever could? Along the Qinhuai, in the last years of the Ming Dynasty, the most celebrated women of the age sang, painted verses and smiled beneath lantern light for men who called them muses. But when war came, that beauty stopped being glory. It became currency, memory, a wound history chose to soften into legend. Tonight, we bring 20 faces of the Qinhuai back to life through AI reconstruction. Stay until the end, because the final face may judge history itself. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Number 20. A lantern still glows faintly at the edge of the Qinhuai, and beneath it once stood a woman remembered only as Wang Yue. She lived at the turn from Ming to Qing, named in the wider registers of Jiangnan's courtesan culture, though her own story survives only in fragments. Later paintings of unnamed river beauties stand in for a face no verified portrait ever recorded. To most, she is a faint name on a long list beside the water. But not every forgotten woman was condemned by history. Some were simply left behind by it. She belonged to a world that once burned brightly. Of her own life, only a small flickering light remains. Number 19. A woman with a fan sits alone in an old illustration, and history has almost nothing else to give her. Her name was Liu Yuan, a courtesan of the late Ming and early Qing, placed among the wider circle beyond Qinhuai's famous Eight. Paintings of pleasure boats and Jinling courtesan dress offer only atmosphere, never certainty, when her face is imagined again. Scholars who wrote of river beauties often preserved a name, a posture, a verse. What they left out was the woman herself. She was folded into aesthetic memory, but never given a full life to keep. The painting still holds its lantern light. The woman beneath it lost her voice long ago. Number 18. Somewhere on a stone bridge above the Qinhuai, a figure lingers in an old sketch remembered as Zhang Yuan. She belongs to the extended world of late Ming courtesans. Her biography thin, her details still unverified. Paintings of Jiangnan beauties and river entertainers give only symbolic likeness, not documented fact, when Reconstruction begins. She is remembered as a shadow moving through lantern light and the company of admiring scholars. To be seen was not the same as to be known. In the world of the Qinhuai, many women were watched far more than they were heard. Some women vanish not because no one looked, but because no one truly asked who they were. Number 17. Legend remembers her as a woman bold enough to command her own house, and history calls her Li Wanjun, sometimes recorded as Li Danyu. She lived among the courtesans of late Ming and early Qing Jinling, known less for delicacy than for daring. Paintings of spirited Qinhuai beauties offer material for her return. Though her name carries variance, the public image is a lavish hostess amid scholars and wine. The colder truth is that generosity from a woman of her station was praised as legend, rarely respected as power. She could build her own stage, yet that stage still stood inside a world men controlled. What people remember most is that she refused to make herself small. Number 16. A name splits into several spellings, and somewhere inside that confusion is a woman once called Ji Rufang, also recorded as Ji Nen. She belonged to the late Ming and early Qing world of Qinhuai courtesans, caught between record and local legend. Later illustrations of Jinling beauties offer only atmosphere, since no confirmed portrait survives. She is remembered as a minor beauty on the edge of the main list, suspended between history and folklore. When only variant names remain, a whole person is left in pieces too scattered to reassemble. She was called beautiful, yet never granted a face anyone could hold on to. Some women lose more than their portraits. They lose the certainty of their own name. Number 15. A pipa rests untouched in an old painting, and somewhere behind it is a woman named Yin Zichun. She lived in the late Ming and early Qing years, part of the broader company of Qinhuai's musical courtesans, rarely known outside China today. Paintings of women playing string instruments beside the river offer the closest material for her return. She is remembered only as one name among river beauties, brighter than her own. On the same river, some women became legend, while others survived only as a distant echo of music. Fame is a merciless kind of light. It falls on a few faces and leaves the rest in shadow. Number 14. A staircase, a passing mention, a nickname that outlived the woman herself. That is nearly all that remains of Gu Shi, sometimes called Xiao Shi. She lived amid the late Ming and early Qing courtesan world, remembered by pet name more often than by biography. Paintings of Jiangnan beauties and records carrying alternate names provide only symbolic groundwork for her reconstruction. The public remembers a nickname and a certain bearing far more than an actual life. Once a woman is remembered only by what others called her, the right to tell her own story is already gone. History kept the nickname. What it lost, perhaps, was the person underneath it. Number 13. A boat drifts beneath lantern light in an old illustration, and somewhere in that scene stands Zhang Yuan. She lived through the fall of the Ming and rise of the Qing. Her name preserved in the broader tradition of Qinhuai courtesans. Her life pieced together only from fragments. Paintings of Jinling beauties and late Ming courtesan dress stand in for documentation that no longer exists. She is remembered as a beautiful name in an extended list, rarely given her own narrative. Many Qinhuai women lived among poets and scholars, yet the literature that surrounded them failed to preserve enough of their lives. She once had a full existence. What survives is only a name drifting on the water. Number 12. A crowd of painted beauties fills an old scroll, and one face among them belonged to Sha Kai. She lived in the closing years of the Ming and opening years of the Qing, counted among the wider circle of Qinhuai courtesans, without a legend as sharp as the most famous names. Illustrations of late Ming courtesans offer only shared imagery, since no certain likeness endures. She is remembered as part of a splendor greater than herself, without the singular myth of figures like Li Xiangjun or Liu Rushi. Having no towering legend can be its own tragedy, swallowing the real woman inside a collective beauty. To be remembered only as part of a group is sometimes just another way of being forgotten. Number 11. A folding screen stands behind a quiet figure in an old painting, and behind that screen was a woman named Ma Wanrong. She lived at the end of the Ming Dynasty, part of the wider circle of Qinhuai beauties, marking the countdown's turn toward more famous names. Paintings of Jiangnan women beside painted screens provide the visual foundation for her return, framed here as contextual reconstruction. She is remembered as a name beside greater names, without a story familiar to modern audiences. The fame of the Qinhuai was a shared light, yet it was never warm enough to reach every private life. Not every beauty needs to shake a dynasty. Some only need to exist and be quietly taken by time. Number 10. A brush pauses above unfinished verse, and the hand belongs to a poet named Yang Yuan. She lived from the early 1600s until 1644, a courtesan and poet of the Qinhuai during the last breath of the Ming. Surviving poems and records of her friendship with the poet Wang Wei give firmer ground for reconstruction than most names on this list. The public remembers a woman fluent in poetry, calligraphy, and art, moving through the world of late Ming scholars. Talent kept her memory alive, but talent could not save her from the chaos when the dynasty collapsed. She left behind her verses. Verses could not carve her a safe road home. Number 9. A woman stands at the rail of a boat, watching a shoreline she may never return to, and her name was Wang Wei, styled Xue Wei. She lived from 1597 to 1647, a courtesan, poet, and traveler in the final years of the Ming. Surviving poetry and travel records distinguish her from the male tongue poet sharing her name. She is remembered as a wandering poet, close in friendship to Yang Yuan. Moving through a world built by scholars, she could travel, write, and observe, yet a courtesan's freedom was always bound by her station. She crossed many rivers. The hardest place to leave was the name society had given her. Number 8. A bow is drawn, and the hand holding it belongs to a woman most paintings would never expect, a courtesan named Xue Susu, also called Xue Wu. She lived roughly from the late 16th century into the mid-17th, in the final decades of the Ming, celebrated equally for brush and bowstring. A painting attributed to her, sometimes titled Girl Playing a Jade Flute, along with woodblock prints of her on horseback, gives rare material for reconstruction. The public remembers a gifted beauty, graceful with ink yet skilled with weapons, rarely trusted to women. Society called her strange, but her strangeness may simply have been a woman refusing the shape prepared for her. Number 7. An instrument sits untouched beside a set of Taoist robes, marking the turn in the life of Bian Yujing, also known as Bian Sai. She lived through the fall of the Ming and rise of the Qing, one of the celebrated Qinhuai Eight Beauties. Later portraits and paintings associating her with Taoist life provide strong visual material for reconstruction. She is remembered as a beauty skilled in poetry, orchid painting, and music, who eventually withdrew from that glittering world. Her retreat was not simple purity. It may have been how a woman survived after everything she had known broke apart. She did not leave the lantern light because it went out. Perhaps she had simply seen too clearly what it was hiding. Number 6. A woman in emerald silk holds a spray of orchids, her bearing too composed for the world she came from, and her name was Gu Hengbo, also called Gu Mei. She lived from 1619 to 1664. Through the collapse of the Ming, one of the Qinhuai Eight Beauties. Surviving portraits tied to the Eight Beauties tradition provide strong ground for her reconstruction. She is remembered as elegant and refined, praised by scholars as without equal among southern courtesans. Rising above her old status did not mean true freedom. It may only have meant a more elegant cage. She climbed higher than most of her time. Her past still followed her, like a shadow that refused to fade. Number 5. A white fan trembles slightly in a woman's hand at the gate of a great household, and her name was Kou Baimen. She lived through the twilight of the Ming and early Qing. One of the Qinhuai Eight Beauties, remembered for a story almost cinematic in shape. Later portraits depicting women before grand estates offer the visual basis for her return. The public remembers a beautiful, spirited woman of considerable flair. The colder truth is that what makes her unforgettable is not beauty, but the moment she used everything she had to buy back her freedom. Placed into marriage like property, she refused to let that be the end. She won because she finally paid the price to belong only to herself. Number 4. An orchid bends on old silk paper, painted by a hand steadier than the century around it, and that hand belonged to Ma Xianglan, also known as Ma Shouzhen. She lived from 1548 to 1604, one of the Qinhuai Eight Beauties, among the best documented artist courtesans of her time. Her surviving orchid and bamboo paintings give strong material for reconstruction. The public remembers a graceful artist presiding over her own world of poetry, music, and theater. Even with undeniable talent, she was filed under the label of courtesan, as if her art required an excuse rooted in her status. She painted orchids as though painting herself, slender, fragrant, proud, forever growing, at the edge of a world built by men. Number 3. Incense curls above an unfinished cup of tea, and beside it sits a woman remembered as gentle as that fading scent, Dong Xiaowan. She lived from 1624 to 1651. Through the collapse of the Ming, one of the Qinhuai Eight Beauties. Portraits and literary accounts of her devotion to the scholar Mao Xiang provide material for reconstruction. The public remembers a soft, cultivated beauty tied to a quiet, literary love story. That gentleness did not exist apart from the chaos around her. It survived only after the splendor of the Qinhuai had begun to break. People remember her as an elegant flower. That flower bloomed in the exact season the empire began to grow cold. Number 2. A painted fan, stained the color of peach blossoms, is the closest thing history left of her true face, and her name was Li Xiangjun. She lived from 1624 into the closing years of the 17th century, one of the strongest of the Qinhuai Eight Beauties, immortalized in the drama The Peach Blossom Fan. Portraits depicting her with the fan give powerful material for her return. The public remembers a woman of unbending loyalty, who defied those who tried to sell her honor in a collapsing age. Legend turned her into a symbol of integrity, but becoming that symbol demanded real suffering as a woman pulled into politics far larger than herself. History kept the fan. On its painted petals is not only beauty, but the fracture line of a dynasty. Number 1. A woman sits before an inkstone in the depth of night, Her gaze already older than her years, and history remembers her as Liu Rushi. She lived from 1618 to 1664. Through the collapse of the Ming, the deepest figure among the Qinhuai Eight Beauties. Surviving poetry, calligraphy, and portraits, tied to her bond with the scholar Chen Qianyi, give rich material for reconstruction. The public remembers a brilliant, proud courtesan who lived by wit and beauty alike. The colder truth is that men wrote history, and women had to prove their souls deserved remembrance. She wanted honor in an age when honor was bought, traded, and shattered with the dynasty. She was never only a beauty of the Qinhuai. She remains the question history never fully answered: how brilliant, how loyal, how dangerous a woman could be. Thank you for watching History Reborn AI. If one face from the Qinhuai has changed the way you see this history, let it stay with you.